Welcome to Omnath, Locus of the Roil. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, we're going to keep on this one. I like it. We've got Nissa who shakes the world, so we're going to be able to get some pretty good and you can see we've got a pretty good amount of forest in our hand. We've got Breeding Pool, Forest, Stomping Ground, and the Flooded Strain and Catacomb. So we'll definitely be trying to set up for a really nice Nissa. And then we've got Panharmonicon, which should hopefully, fingers crossed, set up for some really nice damage that we can divvy out to our opponent. So let's go ahead and lead off with, I guess at this point, we're just going to lead off with Breeding Pool. Yeah, that'll be fine. Lead off with Breeding Pool, have that enter the battlefield tapped, and then anything else, we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing Omnath, Locus of the Roil, the official anger management version of Omnath. We're going to go walking in a creek today to help dispel some of our anger issues. You know, it's a really nice thing to do to make sure you get control of your anger. So, Elemental Mastery. Okay, I like that. Lead off with Stomping Ground. Not going to pay 2, then kick it back over there. So we're playing Omnath. Whenever Omnath enters the battlefield, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of elementals that you control. Then whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1 counter on target elemental you control. If you control 8 or more lands, draw a card. And they're also playing against Tuvasa, which I will cover in just a second. So let's still keep up with these fours. So we're going to go for Flooded Strand. I think that'd be good. Yeah, well, actually, let's just go Catacombs. That way, I think there's another Shockland. No, there's no more Shockland. We'll grab Taiga Uppercut, and have that enter the battlefield, and then anything else will pass it to our opponent. Play against Tuvasa, the Sunlit. Tuvasa gets +1/+1 for each enchantment that you control. Then whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, draw a card. So both kind of playing decks that want to get to that that late game, not late game, but maybe that mid game, and just really get some card advantage going. And then we draw into Valakut, which actually is going to work out well with us sequencing some of these mountains. So at this point, I think we just end up going Explosive Vegetation, kind of like that, and we'll just hold on to this fetch land. So let's go for Explosive Vegetation, and we're going to try to probably just grab a bunch of mountains on this one. That way we can really set up a nice Valakut. Anything else, kick it back over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. It is officially free time. We can have some fun. Now, as far as this Omnath build, we've got really nice Elemental Mastery. I'd like to get that going pretty quick. We are going to basically, by the time we get down Omnath, we're going to have those 8 lands on the battlefield. Excuse me. And then once we get those +1 counters going, it's going to be really good because we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, and it looks like our opponent might be a little bit stuck on blue mana. So, a little bit of a bummer, but sometimes that happens. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we make the land drop. Yeah, I think we can. Let's go Nissa. Gonna be 1, 2. Yeah, we'll have Flooded Strand near the battlefield. Let's go and crack Flooded Strand. And is there another force we can grab? Tropical Island. There we go. So we're going to grab Tropical Island. Let's go for Nissa. That's going to be Angry Nissa. And this could be double green, double green. We can go Skyshroud Claim. We're going to grab Double Forest. Oh, look at that. And then 1, 2, 3. That's some beautiful sequencing. And then anything else. Untap. Yeah, I think what we're probably going to do is, opponent just said that's so much mana. Yeah, that is a lot of mana. We could plus up for 1 if we wanted to. I think we're okay. Just in case there's some sort of get rid of a creature effect, we're gonna hold back on this one. But yes, our opponent, very factual, correct statement. They said that's much mana. And so that is very much mana. There's a lot of mana that we're generating now. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we've got 14 mana. So we've got Omnath next turn, and we've got Elemental Mastery. So what we'll try to do is go for Omnath, get Elemental Mastery onto Omnath, and then once we have Valakut enter the battlefield, that should put us at 1, 2, 3, 4. Once we can get a few more mountains going, then we can end up going for the Valakut triggers. We do have a Prismatic Omen in here. So with Prismatic Omen, what that does is that allows us to turn all of our lands into mountains. And so once we go for Prismatic Omen, that basically just kind of turns this into like a mini cannon scape shift deck. We can just start blasting our opponents. So, but let's go ahead and go for this. Let's go for Omnath. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll tap down on, yeah, I hate to cut out some of that mana. We're going to try to leave up as many forests as possible. So let's go for Omnath. Either way, we're going to have to tap down a forest for this. It's going to be 1 blue mana, and we'll use that last green floating. So we're going to have Omnath enter the battlefield. We're going to deal one angry damage to our opponent. Actually, excuse me, two, with Panharmonicon. Let's go for Elemental Mastery onto Omnath. 1, 2, 3. There we go. One more. And we can't tap them down just yet. So let's have Valakut enter the battlefield. And we're going to go for the... Oh, look at that. So we get the... Make it Omnath a 4/4. Let's go for Grow from the Ashes with the 2-kicker. Hopefully we still have enough basic lands. I think we do. It's going to be double green. And yeah, I think at this point we'll still... Probably still just go and grab double forest. Yeah, I think that'd be good. All right, so grab double forest. That's going to be a few more extra counters on Omnath. We get to draw on a few more spells. And ooh, there we go, Heroic Intervention, which is going to be a wonderful way for us to kind of combat that. And anything else? No, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. So this is very much what we want to be doing with Omnath. So we've got the land drop next turn. We're going to have a lot of elementals entering the battlefield, which is going to be a very nice effect. And if you've ever played with Elemental Mastery, this is such a fun card. Elemental Mastery... create X11 elemental tokens with haste, and so it's just, you know, every turn you get to tap down Omnath. You don't have to swing in with your commander. I think next turn we can just tap down Omnath. That's going to be 6 coming across. You can maybe go for a... It gains vigilance, so we can swing in for a 3/3. It's going to be 9. We might be able to expansion next turn and just close the game out, I think. And our opponent just said, good game. The too much mana over there. And they missed too many land drops, which is very reasonable claim from our opponent. So, but since I've kind of run into this weird like recording block with Omnath where we just get these clunky games where either we just explode or we just like get mana screwed. So I'll probably know. Yeah, opponent's gonna scoop it up. So I'll still end up posting this one. So let's do the math real quick. So we've got Omnath next turn. We tap down Omnath, Locus of the Roil. We're gonna get a +1 counter on Omnath. That's gonna make it a 7/7. Once we have Ancient Tomb into the battlefield, so that's going to be 7 elementals. That's going to put them down to 22. We go for Nissa for a +1. It's going to have Vigilance, so that's going to be 3. That's going to put them down to 19. And then that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I think we've got, I forgot what we counted, but we get dangerously close to an expansion explosion. And then just even if we don't close it out with expansion next turn, to deal lethal, we're going to be drawing like a million cards, and so somewhere along there, even if we just expansion for 12, that puts us in a spot to where we could maybe end up going for a Phantasmal Image, making a copy of Omnath to just deal a ton of elemental damage to our opponent. So pretty much we're going to win next turn, either between closing out with the expansion or just cashing in some really nice card draw. So if you enjoyed your time with Omnath, walking in the creek, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Omnath, Walker of Creeks. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got Catacombs and we've got double 4 mana. Yeah, let's keep on this one because we've got Thran Dynamo. Hopefully we get lucky. We need to hit double lands. So we have 2 lands in the hand. We've got Skyshroud Claim, we've got Explosive Vegetation, we've got Thran Dynamo, and we've got Pull from Tomorrow. So I really like the thought of just ramping like crazy and going for a very nice Pull from Tomorrow. So that's going to be our game plan right now. So hopefully that pays off. Let's see if we hit a land. All right, Phantasmal Image. That's not too bad. Let's go and lead off with, I think at this point, we're just going to lead off with Catacombs, and we'll wait and see what sort of land we draw into, and then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yes, welcome to Omnath, Walker of Creeks. Hope you're excited to walk in that creek and do some really good anger management. That's why he's walking in the creek right there. If you didn't know that, that's the lore behind Omnath, is that he has some anger management issues, and so his therapist has suggested that he go walk in the creek. So that's how he became Teamer, not simply just red-green. So pretty cool little backstory. Proud of him. Let's have the force enter the battlefield, and yeah, we'll just still go ahead and crack Catacombs. Well, we don't have to get down Impact Tremors. I was thinking maybe we can Phantasmal Image as a copy of some sort of mana-producing creature, but yeah, let's still just go ahead and crack Catacombs. We'll go ahead and grab a... I guess no, we need to grab a blue source. So yeah, we'll just end up going for... Because if we end up going Stomping Ground, we can still get down Impact Tremors. We're still going to be online for Skyshroud Claim and Explosive Vegetation, so let's do that. So we're going to grab Taiga. We're going to have Impact Tremors into the battlefield. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we're playing Omnath. Whenever Omnath enters the battlefield, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of elementals that you control. Then, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1 counter on target elemental you control. If you control 8 or more lands, draw a card. So hopefully, with that 8 or more land thing that we're working for, that'll be a pretty nice thing. Let's see, did we hit the... Come on, there we... That is beautiful. Definitely wanted to see that. So we go Arid Mesa... And that's going to allow us to go for a blue-red source. So I think at this point, we could Phantasmal Image on Tajic, but I think we're just going to hold on to Phantasmal Image. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. Play gets Tajic, Blade of the Legion. Indestructible Battalion, whenever Tajic and at least 2 other creatures attack, Tajic gets +5/+5 until end of turn. And Tajic does have Indestructible, so I'm going to try to keep that in mind. There's a lot of times where I forget about that. Because he's just like a little, for some reason, like my brain just looks at Tajic as a 2/2, and I'm like, well, there's no way that thing's indestructible. No way at all. So let's go ahead and grab Steam. I don't know why my brain's weird. All right, so we're going to have Steam Vents enter the battlefield tapped. Our opponent did end up going for Archangel of Thune, which is going to be a pretty good thing that we need to deal with. So if we don't hit the land for next turn, what we might end up doing is going Phantasmal Image on Archangel. And if not, then we're just going to try to ramp. Okay. Well, that's pretty. We can actually do both. So we hit the land. Let's go Field of the Dead. We're going to go for Phantasmal Image. Now, if our opponent has any sort of spot removal, we'll definitely be able to use it. But at least having access to this lifelink. So we're going to deal 1 damage to our opponent. Always yield to that Impact Tremor. And then anything else, kick it back over there. So next turn, we are looking at Thrain Dynamo. That's going to allow us to finally kind of open up on Explosive Vegetation and Skyshroud Claim next turn. And with both of those, we can actually grab a blue source. So that's going to be perfect. It's going to allow us to go for that pull from tomorrow. The only thing that we're trying to do... Ooh, Chandra. Because I was just about to say, we need to get our elemental count up. We had some time, but with Chandra on the battlefield, that's really going to... it's going to kind of get the clock going just a little bit. So... I think they're going to have to sacrifice these either way. Put a +1 count whenever you gain life. This is just straight up just has lifelink. So I guess it technically doesn't really matter which one we block on. We'll still just go and block on one of the elementals. This is going to be a 3/1. So we're going to gain 3. That's going to put us back up to 16. They get a few extra counters. And next turn, we're going to be looking at 17 total commander damage. So that's going to be a pretty good chunk. Ooh, and then we run into 3 visits. Yeah, so let's say that we go 3 visits, or let's say that we go Skyshroud Claim. That's going to allow us to do that. We're actually in a spots where we can't go Thrain Dynamo and Skyshroud Claim. But Skyshroud Claim will give us access to a ton of lands. So yeah, I guess let's just go and do that. So we're going to go Skyshroud Claim. Because that way we can at least grab 2 different forests on the battlefield, and that'll really set up this 3 visits. So we're going to grab Tropical Island. That way it's going to be in a different land. We already have a forest for the turn. Not a huge fan of shocking this one in, but kind of need to do this. So yeah, we're going to pay 2 life. That's going to put us down to 14. Let's go for 3 visits, because if we can get this zombie count going, actually, that might end up being a pretty good thing for us. So let's grab Breeding Pool. We'll have that enter the battlefield tap. Not going to pay 2 life. And then we're going to slowly be able to kind of start to fight some of these elementals from Chandra. So anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So at least at this point, we've got the angel swinging in the air. We've got dueling angels. So we go for Archangel swinging in. Yeah, I think at this point, we just go ahead and pass the turn. Because we want to leave up Archangel to at least kind of set up this lifelink. And let's say they get the 2 elementals going, we can finally just start throwing these zombies in front of Tajic. And then once we end up going for Explosive Vegetation next turn, we're going to get a few more lands on the battlefield. That's going to allow us to at least hopefully kind of keep Tajic on lockdown. So, and as long as we can just get out of this burn range, we should be able to keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully we can stabilize from here. But yeah, we did cover both commanders. It's officially free time. We can have some fun. Now, if you haven't seen this Omnath deck, this is not like super traditional elemental build of Omnath. What we're trying to do is get as many elementals on the battlefield as possible and just kind of go for these really nice damage style effects. That's kind of why we're running Phantasmal Image. Flying Battalion, and then at least 2 of the creatures attack, deals 3 damage to any target, and you gain 3 life. Okay, so we've got ourselves a pretty good little PJ deck over here right now. So we're going to have these elementals swinging in. We got Tajic. We're going to throw the zombie in front of Tajic. That's going to be 10 coming across, puts us down to 4. And at this point, we're just going to block on Archangel. So let's go Zombie Token on Tajic. We're going to go Archangel on Archangel. And that's going to be 6 coming across, which is not going to be too bad because we'll get a little bit of life gain to kind of negate that. The good thing is that once we get this life gain going and once we get these zombies on the battlefield, we'll at least be able to kind of slowly kind of start to amass a zombie army. And so that'll be a pretty nice effect. And at any point, if our opponent isn't going for a Chandra flip, since we're keeping Archangels on Archangels, that's going to at least allow us to kind of keep up with them as far as making sure the Chandra is not going to be super one-sided. Okay, so let's go for Explosive Vegetation. And that's still going to be, yeah, that'll be good. All right, so we're going to go for Explosive Vegetation. That way we can grab 2 basic lands, put them onto the battlefield, and that's going to give us a few more zombies. So let's just go ahead and grab a mountain, and let's go ahead and grab a island. It's going to be 2 more zombies. Let's go and always yield to these triggers. And you can see where, simply just running Field of the Dead in this deck is just, it's just such a good commander card. Let's go for Spring Bloom Druid. It's going to give us another body on the battlefield. The only thing is we have to watch out for the flying in the air. That's going to be our big major issue. So that's going to be Spring Bloom Druid. Let's go and sacrifice this forest. And let's go and grab 2 more lands. So we're going to grab another green source, and let's go and grab another red source, because red tends to be one of the things that we have the most amount of. So there's going to be a couple more zombie tokens on the battlefield. And I think... Now, if we swing in with Archangel, I'd love to get a few extra bonuses on our zombie tokens, but at this point right now, they're going to have lethal in the air. So we need to at least kind of leave up one of these, because they can deal 3 damage to get rid of Spring Bloom Druid. It's not the end of the world, but we really need to kind of have some sort of flying threat to kind of stop our opponent. So let's just go and pass the turn, and we'll kick it back over there. So we do have... we got Rakamar. That's going to allow us to get a few elemental tokens on the battlefield. It's not the best thing, and that's going to be 1 red mana activation. Probably still going to try to set up a pull from tomorrow, because at least we can establish this ground game and just make it really hard for our opponent to want to swing in. If we can get these elementals going, maybe with Rakamar or something like that, that's going to allow us to go for some the battlefield damage with Omnath. And so we're going to try our best to at least kind of deal, can't target Tajic, but if we can get rid of Fire Main, we don't have to worry about that spot removal. And as long as they just keep swinging with the Archangel, we're at least going to be able to kind of threaten the Archangel trades, where we're just going to be gaining some life. So that the only downside is that 3 damage is going to start to add up, especially if that starts sending that up top, because that's any targeted off of that. So let's see how they decide to swing in. Oh no, and I forgot about our Archangel being a Phantasmal, so they just target them with Fire Main Angel, and that's going to be more than enough to make that our Archangel of Thune just go away. I completely forgot about that, I'm sorry. We should have swung in, that would have given us a better zombie board state, so they're going to whiff on that. That's going to be at least 1 creature that we need to block on Tajic, and then that's going to be 9 in the air. So we definitely have to block on some of these as elemental tokens. So we're going to click OK. Let's see what we can do about this. Not looking so hot at this point right now. We do have pull from tomorrow, but we'll see what we can do. But unfortunately, with Tajic being indestructible, they've got Archangel. I think they're going to be able to get it. Well, that's going to destroy target creatures. Indestructible. They're going to be able to swing in for 3. They're going to get a few extra cat tokens on the battlefield. We're going to have to tap out for a pretty good little pull from tomorrow just to see what we can kind of come up with. But that even still puts us in this weird spot to where, yeah, we can still leave up Rabid. So X is going to be 7. So we're going to draw 7 cards and discard a card. And that still puts us on Rabid, to maybe we can get rid of something. At this point, we're just looking at Polluted Delta, but they're still going to be able to swing in the air, especially with 2 flyers. So we're going to scoop this one up. Good game to our opponent. Unfortunately, we kept a little bit of a riskier hand. We had Skyshot Claim and Explosive Vegetation. If we just rip our lands and then really kind of get the ground game going, that can give us a ton of mana and that pull for tomorrow. But our opponent got down Chandra, and Chandra and Commander, you get those 3/1 elemental tokens, 2 of them turn after turn. That just eats away at your life total, especially in 1 versus 1 commander. So if you're wanting pretty good, it's almost kind of like the mono red Elspeth. It just puts on a ton of pressure as soon as she enters the battlefield. So if you're looking for a new red planeswalker to start incorporating into your deck, I highly recommend Chandra Flamecaller, because that gets some pressure done. So anyways, if you enjoyed the video, Like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Omnath, Walker of Creeks. As far as our opening hand goes, oh man, if that was a forest, I would keep on this. Yeah, this is a lot clunky. So let's go and mulligan, and that's going to be Harbor. Yeah, yeah, this'll work. Yeah, I think we'll make this work. Yeah, we'll keep on this one. We have to put one card on the bottom. I guess at this point, Titania is a way that we can make elementals. We're at least going to have one lane in the graveyard with Horror once we sacrifice a land. And I like Croson Grip. Yeah, we'll go and put Croson Grip on the bottom. Yeah, well, okay, we can make that work. Hopefully, we get lucky with some good card draws, and we get a few more lands on the battlefield. So we're going to lead off with Harbor, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we're playing Omnath, Locus of the Roil, the official anger management version of Omnath. We're going to be walking in a creek today to help kind of control some of our anger issues. So if you have any anger issues, be sure to take your shoes off and roll those pants up, and we're going to go for a nice little walk with Omnath. So let's go and lead off with Soul Ring. And anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. We're playing Omnath, Locus of the Roil. Whenever Omnath enters the battlefield, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of elementals you control. Then, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1 counter on target elemental you control. If you control 8 or more lands, draw a card, which is a very, very nice effect. So we're playing against Reki, the history of Kamigawa, and all of it. Any part of Kamigawa you need to know, he knows all of it. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, draw a card. So there you go. I will say this, if you're thinking about building a Kethis deck, what is our opponent doing? They've got a lot of mana on turn 2. This has got me a little scared. If you want to build a Kethis deck, Reki is one of the best things to incorporate into your deck building. It's a lot of fun. Really like it. Okay, so let's see if we hit the land for the turn. That would help smooth things out. There we go, Kessig Wolfrun. Okay, well that'll get it done. So we go Kessig Wolfrun. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put us down to 2, land on the battlefield with 3 visits. Yeah, we can make this work. So let's go 3 visits. It's going to be green with Soul Ring. That way we can grab another 4. It's probably going to grab a, just a green-red one. That'd be pretty good. So let's go and grab Taiga Uppercut. And we'll have that enter the battlefield. We can go for Haro if we want to sacrifice another land. And we can always bring it back with Titania. I think that'd be good. Yeah, so let's go for Haro, especially their opponent tap. Now they have to worry about any sort of counter magic. But, yeah, we'll go and sacrifice Kessig Wolfrun. And that's going to allow us to get 2 more lands on the battlefield and really just kind of break this wide open. Since we do have double green, let's go and split this one down the middle. And we need to grab at least one more blue source. Yeah, we'll split this one down the middle because we've got Grow from Ashes to go for that. So we're going to go Island and Mountain, have both of those enter. And then anything else? No, we're going to go and pass the turn. And I might have sequenced that a little bit differently. I kind of forgot that Haro has them enter the battlefield untapped. So sorry about that. Sometimes when you're building a lot of commander decks, one of the ways that I can do commentary, play the game, and deliver commentary at the same time is like when I look at Haro, I see 3 mana, ramp spell, and I just automatically think Cultivate. And so, sometimes just forgetting, I know we have to sacrifice the land, but there's just sometimes where you just forget that it does something like that. So we've got Titania. Ooh, yeah, kind of like enters the battlefield for return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield. So we can bring back Kessig Wolfrun. Yeah, let's get these elementals going. I kind of want to put some pressure on Reki. Let's go 1, 2. We're going to get the history out of him today. So we're going to have Titania into the battlefield. Poor Reki. Let's go and bring back Kessig Wolfrun. Let's go for Wooded Foothills. That's going to give us an extra 5/3 elemental. There we go. And I think we've got, we need to grab at least one more green source. So it's going to grab a red-green. We're going to go grab Stomping Ground. Actually, we'll grab Stomping Ground. We're going to shock this one in. That way we can end up going for Grow from Ashes. We can actually wait for a kicker. Yeah, let's do that. So let's wait for a kicker. We're actually in a really good spot right now. Our opponent's just got Ancient Tomb and Snow-Covered Forest and Mana Vault. And so we can set up. One of the best things about Omnath is really just getting that, if you 8 or more lands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8. Yeah, once you get that land draw going with Omnath, it's really hard for your opponent to stop that, because if you do like us, if you get lucky and you ramp pretty quick, there's just going to be, just making a card draw from a land drop is one of the best things you can do in Commander. Really, especially in a team or ramp deck like this, really kind of helps set the tone. So opponent's going to get down Fraley. So we've got ourselves a board state where we can push into Fraley. So that's going to be pretty good for us. And we draw into a 4. So let's go. All right, opponent's going to scoop it up on this one. So I'm still going to go and post this one up because it just kind of depends on how Omnath sequences. But at this point, we have Grow from the Ashes, and then we're going to get Omnath down. That's just going to be some really nice card draw, and then especially with Titania. So sometimes we get opponents who early scoop, and so this will make for a complete video, but we're trending towards the win on this one, so I'll kind of splice this onto some of the other videos. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.